Hey, I'm Kathi Tait, the Baldwarrior from Brisbane, Australia.
Hi, I'm Daisy Papp from the Florida Keys.
Together, we are Bald and Blonde, embracing the globe.
Teaching mindset evolution tools to help you transform your life.
There we go. Success.
There we go.
Hello,
Wonderful.
Daisy. Hello, Florida.
Hello, Australia, and hello to the world.
Yes, hello to the world. I'm just going to see if we've got anybody on with us. I think we might have a couple of people. I'm just monitoring the Facebook page as well in case we get some questions there.
Sure.
So guys, if you do have any questions, please just put them on the Facebook post and I'll keep checking it. So I just did a bit of an intro. I don't know if you heard Daisy, but I was just telling everybody about your book and how we're going to share with everybody the principles in there of 5+2. So while we wait for some more people to jump on the live, why don't you introduce yourself and your background and share with everybody what self-recoding is?
Oh, okay. So first of all, my name is Daisy Papp. I happen to be born a female and I am how I behave. So it is not that I am all kind of titles. I'm not a psychologist, I'm not a psychotherapist. Nevertheless, I had big fortune in studying with some of the finest people in this industry. And so I created my own mixture, and that own mixture was founded in 2008. And the name of that is self-recoding, because I was thinking about it. Who am I to recode you? I'm not qualified for doing that, and I do believe no human being should be qualified in recoding you. But I like to help the world and the humans living on this wonderful planet, how they can self-recode themselves.
Yeah, absolutely. And I have done a session with Daisy and I have to say it was fantastic. And it took me back to a place where I'd been storing quite a lot of emotion. And so highly recommend self-coding out there to anybody who feels like they might need it, especially in this time that we're going through right now. I think there's a lot of uncertainty and emotion flying around in the world because of the pandemic. And that's really why we're doing this special video edition and talking about love, because we know that so many of you are trapped in your homes right now and may not be getting on with your fellow trappies as well as you'd like to. So we thought we'd share some knowledge and some experience around creating better relationships using this principle of 5+2. So how would you like to start diving into it, Daisy?
Well, I believe that this is really extraordinary at this time. My date is the 26th of March. I know that you are already in a different time zone. You are already on
Hello
the 22nd.
from the future.
Yes. But it's nevertheless, if it's morning or noon, or if it's afternoon, or if it's night, it is very unusual that so many people are just in the same environment. That might be a studio apartment, a house. I don't know where they are. Maybe they live in a camper or in an RV. It is very unusual that we are so close together over such a long period of time, because usually we have our daily routine. We go out to work, we go to the post office, we go to the hair salon, we go run errands, we go and meet with friends, we go to the restaurant, the coffee shop, and all kind of things. And now these are just at this very moment not available for us. And really, people stay at home. The more we stay at home and we really obey that stay at home rule, I do believe the sooner we will be set free again. At least that's my point of view. And I had a wonderful, wonderful dinner the other day. I had a dinner date with my friends who live far away, and what we did, we set up the computer, the laptop, and I cooked my dinner and they cooked their dinner, and we had a wonderful conversation. Of course, it was not the same as if we would have sit in the same restaurant or dining room or on the beach or in the garden. Nevertheless, it is still a possibility to stay connected, and we see each other and we can have a discussion. So the 5+2, actually, so if you show the book one more time, because there's one very interesting thing of it, because you see there my name doesn't appear on the front cover. And there's a reason to it, because the message is so much larger than the author. And that is what I really want to encourage you to listen into this, because this is truly coming from my heart. I suffered myself with all kinds of love issues since I was 8 years old, and my biggest dream popped when my father died with his parents, and my mother barely survived due to an accident. And so the love that I experienced in the family when I grew up was all of a sudden gone. And now that we are all captured or almost incarcerated voluntarily, most of us, we're on the edge. It's a challenge. And now when I asked 1,000 people, what is love? Because you don't love me anymore. Oh, you should love me more. Would you please love me more? Or children, so he doesn't love me anymore. She doesn't love me anymore. Teenagers and adults alike. So what is love? When I ask 1,000 people, I receive 1,000 different answers. And because I receive 1,000 different answers, I wonder, so what is love? How can we come to a common denominator? And that is how the 5+2 evolved and turned into that publication. And I want to share this here. You don't need to buy the book. If you feel like you want to support us, Kathi and I, because we're doing this podcast and a series of them, then of course we're very happy if you buy the book or download the PDF. But this is not the point. We're not selling you anything. We would like to enlighten you. And maybe when you cannot go outside, go inside. Okay, go inside your own heart, and let's learn something that we may be able to benefit from for the rest of our lives. So, and in between, actually, I wanted to say, I would love to sit out there as well, but we have no CMs around this hour, and I'm not going to sit here and scratching myself. So I volunteered to be in my living room and stay here. So when you think of love, and everybody out there, I'd like you to really take a moment for yourself and just question yourself. So what is love? And you can write it in the chat box, or you can write it in the comment later on when we post it on YouTube or other platforms. But what is love? And well, with you, I cannot do that anymore because you went through the process, Kathi. So I cannot really ask you what it is.
I know the answer.
I can give you a few examples. For example, some people tell me, well, it's unconditional. Other people say, well, it's when you would do for the other person everything and anything beyond your own capabilities, but you would at least try. Others say, well, you just accept me the way I am. And that goes on and on and on. And the first one that I just mentioned, so love is unconditional, yes and no. I know you cannot have it both ways, yes or no, but nevertheless, I do believe that if I'd say I love you unconditionally and you step on my toe, and every single time you and I meet and you continue stepping on my toe, I have the right and also the responsibility to set a boundary. And so this is where love is not unconditional. It doesn't turn conditional like, okay, I only love you when you stop stepping on my toes. But it is very important that I inform you that you stepping on my toes is painful for me, and I'm kindly asking you to stop doing that. And the moment it makes sense, it's not like, I'm asking you something, hey, you know what, don't you ever look like that again? Because it's impossible. We all have our facial expressions. We all have our looks. We did not choose our skin color. We did not choose the pigmentation count of our skin or the eyes. We did not choose how much hair we have, hair color, especially at these days when there's no salon open at these days. So when we look at love, I say, and I throw it out there, and I really wonder how shocking or how revealing it is for you. I say love is not only a feeling or a phrase. Love is behavior, period.
Absolutely. I agree 100% with all of the things that you've written in this book around that. I found myself nodding along as I was reading it. Because, you know, when I examine my past relationships that haven't worked, it has been the absence of one of these principles that has contributed to it failing. So I think they're really, really important principles, and I'm really excited that we're going to get to share them with everybody out there. And I'd also say, you know, that this takes two. You can't really do this on your own. You can do all these principles and be this person, but it is going to depend on the behavior of the other person as well in the relationship, whether it's a partnership or a family member, you know, or even somebody younger than you know, like your child or your, you know, niece or you know, the kids you're teaching. It does depend on both parties being willing to follow these principles to have success.
I agree. Nevertheless, we always teach people how to treat us.
Yes.
So when I work with couples or families and one of the members utilizes and starts to live by the 5+2, interestingly, everything shifts. Because it's like in a Swiss watch. I don't know if you've ever looked at a watch inside. The inside of a watch, it's tiny, tiny, tiny little wheels, and many, many of them. And if you move one, everything moves. Maybe some just a little bit, depending on the size. So, but when you go into family dynamics and only one person in that family system changes and shifts, everything changes and shifts. Now, this is not a good time to break up and or getting a divorce. This is just not the time. We need to stick together as much as we can. And therefore, I would like to help you to see how you individually, whoever is listening and looking at this right now, watching us later on, can become a more loving person, because it always starts within. I'm responsible for me and my behavior. It is not that I can always blame the others. These are extraordinary times, and it is very important that each single one of us is just starting to look at themselves and their own behavior and not blaming the other person, because that is so easy. And once we learn the 5+2, blaming easily stops, because we know, actually, it is not them, but it is within me. So I would say let's get started. So those of you who watched this and have worked with me before in video sessions, because I do Skype sessions and webby sessions and Zoom sessions since almost a decade. Those of you who already are familiar with this, here's my famous green paper. It's not famous, I make it famous. I'm not sponsored by the paper manufacturer. Nevertheless, I like to have it visual and
hear. But that is a good idea, Daisy.
Yeah, maybe we can reach out. I'm using always the same paper, and maybe that's a good idea. Or whoever listens to us out there and is interested in supporting us, just simply by a like or a smile or a heads up, we already appreciate that. And because what Kathi and I are doing, we do it from the bottom of our heart. So I would say let's start. So here's how I usually do it. So I always go and I put down my video screen like that, and now we're going to start. So when we say, okay, so love is what? And I suggest that you first start yourself asking, so, okay, so what is it? And then you come up with specific answers. And then you can start thinking about it, what XYZ causes in your life, or what XYZ truly means to you, and why it is so important. And I say that love is behavior. So now when I start watching my own behavior, and I cannot control what's going on outside of me, especially in these times, right? It's a very, very good example, because we were hardly any time in our lifetime, yours and mine, in a hardship like that, that was specifically that you cannot leave the house and you're so close, locked together.
Yes.
So look at your own behavior. And I say, here we go. 5 + 2 is love. Now, what is the 5 + 2? Let's go into the components. The 5 + 2 these are specific behaviors that we can look at, and then we can measure those. Because otherwise, how can you measure love? It's very difficult to measure love. Because I can tell you now, Kathi, I love you much more than you love me. How can we ever measure that? It's impossible, right?
Yeah.
But now, based on my relationship with you, I can say we love each other very much the same way, because we behave in a very loving way. Now let's go to the components. So the first one is, so let me put out the capital letters first, and then we go down.
And note, everybody, that Daisy is actually writing upside down here. So,
So yes.
Great job, Daisy. I love it.
Thank you.
I love it. You're doing great.
Yeah, because not that somebody thinks, oh my God, she has really weird handwriting. Yeah, well, do it after me. And especially the numbers, sometimes they're not so pretty when I turn them around, but as long as you can see what they mean. Okay, so actually it's RACDE. I had a client in California who came up with a wonderful idea, and he said, actually, the letters, you could also say it's cared.
Oh, yes, they do. Sorry, we've got a little girl riding her bike past. A little bit of background joy there.
That is lovely, lovely. You know, she's just a little girl.
Yes.
And she's doing what she's supposed to do, have fun. Okay, so now just keep in mind, maybe for you later on, the cared might be a better reminder for you than instead of this. This is almost unpronounceable, like the simple. So the first of the love components is respect. So we want to check, how respectfully do we behave with other people? How respectful am I when I leave the door open, although I know that you don't like it open, just as an example? Or how respectful am I that I leave my socks around, although I know this is not really what makes you smile and happy, right? Unless you're a dog, because dogs actually like to sit around and play with it. The next one is admiration. So how do I behave? Do I admire the little steps or the little gestures, the little things that another person is doing for me? Let's go back to the door. They close the door. Can I admire that they're respectful? The next one is consideration. Consideration. Am I considerate? Am I considerate of others? Let's say nowadays, okay, we're really so close in one household, and one of the teenagers, let's say, living in the household, just switches on the music and puts it so loud that everything is starting to shake. How is that considerate towards the other family members? You can answer that yourself. Now, dignity. That is, I do believe, one of the most challenging to describe, and I have thought about it, Kathi, that maybe later on we can put it in the post, especially on YouTube, where we can just put a PDF with the descriptions of You know, so what does it mean, and what's in the book, just to give them an excerpt, because so people can really save their money and not buy the book. And the fifth of the first, right? We have 5 plus 2. The fifth is empathy. Do I have empathy with the other person? Because we're all in this together. I would like to go to a musical concert. I love live music. Now, the musicians playing love live music as well, but we cannot meet worldwide, right? Unless we go on an internet platform where we can share, like you and I do right now. So can I have empathy with the person who is in the same household right now with me, in the same spot? Can I have empathy with them instead of only focusing on me? Well, I'm so upset because I cannot leave the house. I cannot do this. I cannot go to the work. I cannot go do my sports in the gym. I cannot go ride my bicycle. I cannot, and the list goes on and on. How empathetic can I be with others? Now, I wonder if you can see, when I start already looking at my own behavior, respect, admiration, consideration, dignity, and empathy, me, myself, if I watch me and how I behave, I wonder if you can already see that this already can have an impact on the family system, especially in a small space.
Absolutely, and I think that's quite clear how all of those 5 things would help people, you know, get on with each other in a much easier and healthier way. And I have to say that when I was reading through this, I noticed a common denominator of all of them. You've used the example to put yourself in someone else's shoes. And I think that is really a key here, that being kind to each other and being all these 5 things to each other, and the 2 that are to come, are a lot about how you are having an effect on that other person, and how that is going to be perceived by them.
Because when I go to the grocery store and I'm looking for the famous paper towel or paper products, right? That is, it's a worldwide phenomenon. Actually, I just watched something on a German documentary, and they said it's a German phenomenon. Well, they must have not looked over their borders nowadays. And it has to do with control. So it's a psychological phenomenon, because we're trying to control the tiny little bits that we can still control. But now, nevertheless, we are all together in this. So when I go to the grocery store and I see they ran out of hand soap, they ran out of dishwashing soap, they ran out of toilet paper, or they ran out of my favorite meat, or mushrooms, or salad, or carrots, or fruit, whatever that is, I'm not alone in this. When I put myself in the other person's shoes, then we can stop just at, the elbow.
Yes.
I understand. It is so funny. I don't know how it is in English in Australia. Do you say that, yeah, the elbow generation or the elbow society? We use that as a German term. Just for the information of those who don't know, I'm originally from Germany, born and raised there. So now it's kind of, we're reframing the elbow society, and we are greeting people with the elbow. So let's reframe it and make it a wonderful thing. We don't need our elbows anymore to, okay, me, but I put myself in another person's shoes.
Oh, that's a really interesting expression, because no, we certainly don't use that down under here in Australia or New Zealand. So yeah, interesting. But it makes sense that you would use elbows, because, it's kind of a sort of denotes a pushy, selfishness, all about me type attitude. And yes, I think that transforming it by doing a greeting, the elbow greeting, is a great idea.
Yeah, and then we become the evolved elbow.
The evolved elbow society.
Yeah. Yeah.
Lovely.
okay, so let's continue with the +2. What is the +2?
Yes.
And I wonder if by now that you can see that these are measurable behaviors.
Yes.
I wonder if when everyone in a system, in a family system, or a greater system, in a community, neighborhood, in a county, in a country, globally, if we would start behaving that way within the shortest amount of time, we could really, really change the world. And
I think it would
always starts.
transform the world. Absolutely.
Absolutely. But nevertheless, it never starts with you. It always starts with me.
Yes.
And if all of us would say it starts with me, and everybody would start looking at their own behavior, can you see how beautiful that would be?
Absolutely.
The result.
Yes.
Okay, so let's go to the +2, okay?
Yes, let's do it.
But let's do it. Okay, so the +2 is having a word.
Now, down here, down under, we say keeping your word.
I agree with you. We would say that here too.
Okay.
I say it I framed it this way because I have a word, but you can take it to the bank.
Okay, cool.
So it is currency. Now, we all want to have more currency. Well, let's be having a word, your currency. When I say that I'm going to be here, my time 7:30 p.m., and you will be there 9:30 a.m., your time zone, we both are here because we both have a word.
Absolutely.
And now comes the last one of the +2, is following through. And I draw a little watch here, a clock, in a timely manner. Following through in a timely manner. When I tell you I'm going to pick up my socks, then I'm having a word only when I truly do it. And then I follow through in a timely manner. I don't say I do it tomorrow, or I don't care, or who cares, because then I'm not respectful.
Yes.
And not considerate. Because if I would put myself in the mother's shoes, or in the caretaker's shoes, or in the siblings' shoes, or the friend's husband's shoes, whoever we talk about, then it becomes so much easier that I can stop leaving the socks out only because. So when I say, okay, you ask me, Daisy, would you please pick up your socks? And I say yes, then I'm the one who can prove that I can follow through in a timely manner. It doesn't mean it has to be immediately, let's say because I have my hands full of cookie dough. Let's say because I'm just baking cookies, or I make a bread dough because I want to feed the family. But following through in a timely manner. Is it human that we sometimes forget? Absolutely yes. We all forget. But if I forgot, or if I cannot do it right now, then I'm informing you and say, first of all, okay, I'm sorry I forgot. Let me take care of it as soon as I can, or right now. Or I can say, look, I heard you. I'm going to pick up my socks. Let me wash my hands, and then I do it. Does that make sense?
Yes, and it's so respectful. I love it. I think, I was brought up with that foundation of if you say it, then you do it, or you explain why you can't. And that is something that was kind of ingrained into me very young. And it frustrates me so much when other people don't do it, I have to say.
Yes, and that is because you're very fortunate in this regard that you were brought up with that. It's a value.
Yeah.
That is, by having a word, you have it. It's value. It's currency.
Yes.
So now I wonder if you out there who see this for the first time, if you can see if a person consistently behaves based on this, on the 5+2, I wonder if you can see that living together, even in a small spot, being locked up, the stay home order in order, I wonder if you can see how the dynamics in the environment can change. So we start having happier family members then.
Absolutely.
Now, and also when a person consistently behaves like that, you know what you can earn during these lockdown times? You can earn trust. And trust is invaluable.
I think it's a foundation, isn't it?
Yes. But when I look around the relationships that I work with, when they come to see me or reach out for help, or individuals who would like to start a relationship, or families who have challenges, usually there's trust not very high. So how can we build trust? And, oh, well, I can't trust you. Okay, I heard that before, but how do we address that? Oh, you can trust me. Well, show me, but how can I measure it? This principle gives you such an easy way to measure the improvement. It shows my improvement. It shows, okay, I can start having a look at myself, because when I say I love you, do I behave accordingly? Or are these just empty words? I love you, but I step on your toe. Ouch. So love is behavior. And now I truly believe that within 24 hours, wherever you are, in whichever small system you're living right now, family system, relationship, and even if you're living by yourself, and you start watching your behavior, how you interact with people on the phone, on social media, in emails, and you second guess yourself, I think that's, sometimes I make up these words. And you start questioning yourself, okay, so am I behaving in a loving way? So I truly believe that we can achieve such a more peaceful environment, whichever environment we're in right now. And what I find really so important to see right now, when we go to the grocery store, or we go to the gas station, what is still open, or we go to the bakery that's still open, or we go to the doctor's office, it is amazing. These people do such a phenomenal work, and for the first time in their lives, they receive appreciation for what they do. The cashier at the drive-through chain, first time that we as a generation or generations realize the importance of every single individual. And when we start putting ourselves in their shoes, only for a minute, we don't have to stay there. Just feel it for a minute. The compassion can grow exponentially. It's just a virus. So let's have a virus of love. Let's spread the virus of love. And there's so many spiritual teachers. I see it pops up here and there on my accounts, and I receive emails where they say, yeah, well, love is the highest vibration. Really. But none of them tells you what love is. It's like a mystical something. Well, here you have it. Love is behavior. So go in that. And once you behave in a more loving way, you will be happier to look in the mirror and be loving to yourself. Whatever you do, is it just respectful to you? And in the meantime, I'm disrespecting me because I do something that I don't want to do? Am I admiring myself for keeping quiet and patient in times like that? Can I give myself admiration? Can I be considerate with myself? I'm exhausted from home office work, and I'm exhausted from cooking, and in the meantime, teaching the children with homeschooling. I'm exhausted. Can I give myself the consideration to, okay, so now I make myself a foot bath. Not everyone has these fancy things, but most households have a big pot, and you can always disinfect it. But make a cute little bubble bath in that, and put your feet in there. Be considerate if that's something that you like. Be considerate with yourself. Have empathy with yourself. I'm sorry for me that I'm going through this, and I'm sorry for all of us that we're going through this. When I can behave this way with myself, the pressure of my partner lowers, because I'm not expecting my partner anymore to give me the 5+2. Because they have their own stuff going on, their own fears, their own concerns, their own stress, their own dissatisfaction, their own worries, heartbeat, health problems, whatever that might be.
Yeah, you're so right, Daisy. And if I can interject here, I think that we should also briefly discuss another key concept, which we have done a whole episode on, but I think would be helpful here in conjunction with this. And we talked about it the other day, was to respond, not react. Mm-hmm. And I think that when you're in such close quarters with your partner or other family members, you know, tempers can get frayed and frustrations can grow. And I think the concept of respond, not react is really important. And if we can practice that as well, it will make it easier to practice these principles.
Yes, I so agree with you. Now, there are a few things that we can always do. No matter how the others behave around me, I'm not in control how other people behave. It's out of my zone. I can, and I hope many of us can, be responsible for how we behave.
Well, we all can. It's a choice, isn't it?
Yes, but the question is, can we control it? So I cannot control what's outside of me, but I can learn how to control what's inside of me. And instead of being angry and snip and snap and bark and scratch at someone, right, or screech and scream and yell and all kind of unfriendly words, they don't really change the situation. So stop saying them. Stop saying them. Makes you angry, makes the other person angry or sad. Everybody's getting even more frustrated. Before you react, take a breather. Take a deep breath. You have all the time in the world now to take a deep breath. Unless you have breathing problems, and then of course you cannot do that. Okay? But it's very important that we see that it is not the other person who makes me angry. They do something that is the trigger to which I respond angrily.
Yes.
It's my responsibility. And yes. Then when I'm calm, I can teach others, please, Joey, pick up the socks. Because when you do not pick up the socks, I feel ignored and I feel of less value, or whatever it is that you feel. It's hurting me. It's hurting my feelings. I know it's only a sock, but please, would you? And instead of, oh my God, you left the socks all over the place. So this is a great, great experience for us where we can learn loving behavior. And I truly believe that some marriages and some relationships are really, really highly tested here and really highly challenged. And instead of saying, you know, once this is over, I'm getting a divorce or I break up with you, don't even go there. Live in this very moment, At this very moment, are you thirsty? Drink.
It is a good time to live in the moment too, and not give too much energy to the unknown, because, you know, with things unknown as they are, you know, people are scared. But I would say don't put energy to fear. Just focus on what you are doing and being right now in the moment with your family, with whoever it is that you are quarantined or locked up with, or whoever you are having to work with. If you are on the front line and still working, we appreciate you. And we know that it's a really, really tough time. So wherever it is that you are, let's just focus on how we are acting and behaving now and get through this together. I think that, you know, this will change the world in a positive way if we want it to be so.
Yes, but now again, it is not your responsibility. It is my responsibility and everybody else's own responsibility.
Yes, we each all have to do our part and take responsibility for our part. Yeah, exactly.
I agree. Now, I was also thinking that maybe we can add somehow, I don't know the technical, you're my techie guru, and on this end, on the other side, in Tomorrowland, I have another book, and I would like to give some of the skills in there. It's software update for your mind, and I have a few skills that we can put in there, that we just put it out so people can do it. That's something that they can do. For example, here's one, the happy list, or the next one that we can put out. Where is it? I just had it. Give me a moment. I don't find my own one. The feel good list. So there are a few things that you can do, and I would like to add that in our post later on, where we can just have that and people can just click on it, copy it, and put it in their computer in a document or something. Because
we can do a few things. We can either create PDFs and load them up to our pages, or have them as attachments, or we could do live videos on what to do.
Yeah, we can do that as well. And so one more time to the 5+2. Once you start using it, it shifts everything. When you start behaving in a respectful way, you share the admiration that you have towards someone. You are considerate. You have empathy and show it. You have a word as a currency. You can take it to the bank. When I say yes, then I mean it. And when I say no, I mean it too. And when I say I'm going to do something, then I'm following up as best as I can. And when we implement that towards everyone we meet on social media, in the messengers, or in the little posts where people can add comments, somewhere it is really challenging to read how people treat each other, not in a loving way.
Absolutely.
And remember, you can always teach everyone how to treat you. Not in this case, of course, when we are in such a close squares, how you said it, so small squares, and in quarters, then we have bigger challenges now, because it's very unusual, and we are having a hard time to get used to it. But when we start looking at ourselves, and yes, let's create a more loving environment with what we have right here, right now, and not focus on what's happening tomorrow, because we do not know what happens tomorrow. If somebody would have told us 6 months ago that the entire globe, everybody who's living on this planet, or in the Western world where we have houses and homes, or I don't know how people in Africa handle it. I don't have enough information to comment on that. Where they have still tribes. I don't know how tribes in Brazil can protect themselves. I don't know. We need to focus on what we have right here, right now, because nobody would have predicted that this is going to happen 6 months ago. And now here we are. So we don't know what happens in tomorrow, or in next week, next month. So do the best what you can with what you have right here, right now. And the greatest gift that you can give to the world is you, when you start behaving as a loving person.
Yes, I agree. Thank you so much, Daisy, for sharing all of that with us. And we have had a question about where we can get the book. So we'll put a link up for you guys who would like to go and get it. You're most welcome to do that. And it is a great read. Like, I'm about halfway through it, and it's not a hard read. It's easy to follow, easy to understand, and makes so much sense, guys. So I recommend it. So we'll put together some exercises from Daisy's other book, and we'll post them on Facebook in various pages. Most things always go on the Baldwarrior page, but we also have a big group, the Dream Life Believers, of 700 people who I'm sure would be pretty excited to get those exercises. And my specialty is going live and giving tips on how to do things now, because I'm an action taker. But we can also create something that can be downloaded and done later at home.
Yes, and especially the 5+2 components, because I did not really dig into the dignity part, because it's quite a challenge to explain here. But when we have it as a PDF, then we can share that, and it's for free. And you just we put out the definitions there, so you can read through them and really ponder on it for a little bit. And when you feel, share it with your friends, share it with your girlfriends, share it with your family members. Teach your children. Teach your children. That's the best you can do. Children are our future.
Absolutely. And these are skills every child should learn. I think that it's actually almost a basic component of human decency to learn these things and to act this way.
Well, I'd love, so if there's out there in this big world, any time zone, if there's somebody out there who's doing homeschooling and teachers who would like to implement that, because it's really, really hugely valuable. And I've seen it with hundreds of clients who started living by the 5+2, and their lives just changed in so wonderful ways. And I can only speak for them because they're not here right now. I don't know what's going on in the chat box, or how many are just listening to it or will review it later when they can be in their privacy. I truly believe that if we were be taught from very young age on what love is, we would be able to prevent so many bad relationships. We would be able to prevent so many divorces, so many children who are orphans based on, or are children of divorced parents. And we can really get to that. If my biggest vision when I wrote that book, I truly wanted to teach it to every single child in this world. I don't know how to go about it, but there's always a good start. And now we're teaching it to you. We're giving it away. We would like you to share it and share the PDFs, because let's start embracing the virus of love, so we can just reject the other one.
Love it. Okay, I think that's it for us today. So we really hope that you enjoyed hearing about this and learning about this, and we hope that you take away the information and start practicing it.
Thank you so much. And please, everybody, stay out there. With my whole heart, I'm sending all the love I have to everyone, to those who see us, to those who we don't see, those who know us and those who don't know us. And just simply, I'm very, very compassionate, and I hope that for all of us that we can take away some great lessons learned once this is over. And in the meantime, just observe your own behavior and start becoming the loving, caring, creative person you were born to be.
Virtual hugs for the world.
Hugs for the world. Bye. Bye.
Bye, everybody. Thanks.